Hi everybody, we're back. It's Mrs. Hopley and we're going to be starting part 2 of our worksheet today, which is about place value relationships. So I drew these two little people here to show that when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about how numbers and their values relate. Another way you might hear this is relative place value or comparative. I'm not going to have room to write it there. But they're all getting at the same idea. We're looking at numbers and how the values of digits relate depending on what place they're in. So first things first, I want us just to review. I'm going to make a quick little place value chart here. So again, hopefully this is something everyone feels like they can do independently. So I'll make my horizontal line. And then I'm gonna make 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, and that will give me 7 spaces. Doesn't have to be beautiful. And then I'm gonna label the places. So I know first we have ones, tens, then the hundreds places, thousands. If you feel like you need to write these words out, please do. 10,000s, 100,000s, and then the millions place. So this gives me 7 digits. So I'm always jotting this down on my paper. You guys also have in your resource folder a copy of a place value chart and a sheet protector. You could pop this page in your sheet protector so you could use your dry erase marker to work on there. But first things first, here's our place value chart. I want us to talk about moving to the right on the place value chart. So when we're moving to the right, is the value of our number getting bigger or smaller? So if you're moving this way on the place value chart, is your number getting bigger or smaller? If you're going left to right, the value's getting smaller. If we start off with 6, we just had like 600s, and we move to the tens place, it's getting smaller. That's going to be division. Now the opposite. If we're going from right to left, shifting to the left, the values of our numbers are getting bigger. So shifting left, the values get bigger. We're going to be multiplying. So shifting to the right, really squeezing it in there. We're getting smaller. We're thinking about division, taking away zeros. Shifting to the left, moving in this direction, we're getting bigger. We're going to be multiplying and affixing zeros. Okay. Let's talk about taking one shift. So in our example with 660, if that 6 moves from the tens place to the hundreds place, that's one shift. One shift. Those digits, those places are right next to each other. Hundreds and tens are next door neighbors. That means whenever we take one shift, our value gets how many times, in this case, bigger? Let's see who remembers from Friday. One shift, 10 times. 600 is 10 times 60. All right, let's think of 2 shifts now. So if we have a number like 6,660, to get from the tens place to the thousands place, we shift once, which we know is times 10, and then a second time, which is also times 10, what does that equal together? Times 10 times 10. Let's think about the relationship between 6,000 and 60. Who remembers? 2 shifts, 100 times bigger. It's not 20. It's not 20. We're not doing 10 plus 10. It's 10 times 10. 2 shifts is times 100. And then let's see if we can follow this pattern. If we're doing 3 shifts, 1 shift times 10, 2 shifts times 100, 3 shifts, I hope we all see the pattern here. It's gonna be 1,000 times. So here I see my 1 0 I would affix. Here I see 2 zeros, and here I see 1, 2, 3 zeros to affix. This is one of those few things in math I just want you guys to memorize. I just want you guys to commit this to memory. Hopefully, we understand why this is true. Hopefully, we can see the relationship between 600 and 60, and that 600 is 10 times bigger. Hopefully, we understand why each shift is worth times 10. But I just want you guys to memorize that, just like we've memorized the places on the place value chart. Okay, so now that we've practiced with what shifting to the right and shifting to the left means, smaller and bigger. Now we've talked about what the number of shifts means. We're gonna do a little bit of practice. I'm gonna make us another quickie place value chart here. So, and this number, 664, I want to know how many times bigger is the 6 in the hundreds place than the 6 in the tens place. Now you guys have this sentence frame on your worksheet. The 6 in the hundreds place has a value of blank. What's the value of that first 6, the 6 in the hundreds place? I'm gonna leave that for you guys to fill in. The 6 in the tens place has a value of blank. This is a great question to think about when you're starting to do relative place value, even if they don't ask you to fill in that sentence. This is the sentence they're usually going to ask you to fill in. The 6 in the hundreds place is blank times blanker than the 6 in the tens place. And for today, we're not going to work on the because. For today, we're just going to practice figuring out how many times greater or less. So let's reread this. The 6 in the hundreds place is blank times blanker than the 6 in the tens place. This 6 compared to this 6. We're trying to find their relationship. So hopefully you guys were able to fill in these two blanks. The 6 in the hundreds place, that's worth 600. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna translate this whole part of my sentence to say 600. Hopefully you guys were also able to figure out that the 6 in the tens place is 60. So I'm gonna take this whole part of my sentence, this whole part and change it to 60. So now my sentence is, we're getting a little bit cramped here. Let's grab a new piece of paper. Now my sentence is, $600 is blank times blanker than 60. 600 is blank times blanker than 60. I'll shimmy my work over here so you guys can see. So we replaced all those words, we translated. All right, so let's come and fill in this second blank first. 600 is sometimes blanker than 60. This is going to be greater than or less than. 600 is greater than 60 or 600 is less than 60. Okay, I know 600, let's grab another color, is greater than 60. For me, that's the easier blank to fill in. We gotta figure out, is this the bigger number? Then it's greater than, or if this is the smaller number, then it will be less than. Now we need to figure out how many times greater 600 is. Is it 10, 100, or 1,000 times greater? That's when I'm gonna come back to my place value chart. If I look here, how many shifts did I take to get from the tens place to the hundreds place? How many shifts? One shift. They are next door neighbors. They are next door neighbors. Here they are right next to each other. And I know one shift equals 10 times greater. So that means 600 is 10 times greater than 60. Or the 6 in the hundreds place is 10 times greater than the 6 in the tens place. The equation that proves this, again, we're going to translate a little bit more. 600 equals 10 times greater, so I'm going to do 10 times 60. All right, that's all we have time for today. Good luck with the rest of your practice.